I'm going to show you how to complete the problems on the worksheet called Solving Equations Practice. Solve each equation and show your work. Remember to use inverse operations and perform those operations on both sides of the equal sign. Use the letters of the variables to answer the riddle at the end. So at the end of this worksheet there is a riddle. Okay? So I'm going to just use the method that I showed you how to solve equations in class. So this says s divided by -6 minus 21 is equal to -28. So our job when we're solving equations is to figure out what the value is of this variable right here that would make this side equal -28 because this side equals -28. So some number that we need to figure out divided by -6, then you take that value and subtract 21, it's going to equal -28. And our job is to find out what that value is. Okay? So just like in class, I showed you how to build equations. So right here they started with s. And then after that, when they were building the equation, they divided it by -6. And then after that, and I use this for divide, they subtracted 21. So from there, you need to use inverse operations like the directions said, obviously, and solve the equation. Make sure you do to both sides of that equal sign. So the inverse operation of subtract 21 is to add 21. So we're going to do that to both sides of that equal sign. Okay? -21 plus 21 is 0. That's where I want you to write the 0 through it. Don't write the 0 underneath it because that might mess you up later on. -28 plus 21 is a positive or -7. And then bring down your equal sign and then bring down your s divided by -6. Okay? Now that we've rewritten it, now you can go back up and do the inverse operation here. So the inverse operation of dividing by -6 is to multiply by -6. Okay? So you multiply this side by -6, you multiply this side by -6. So what I see right here is -6 times this fraction. It's set up as a fraction, it's s divided by -6. So when I'm multiplying with fractions, it helps if I have a denominator for this -6 right there, okay? So -6 times s is -6s. 1 times -6 is -6. Okay? And we have -7 times a -6. Negative times a negative is a positive, so positive 42. And something that you'll see right here is -6 divided by -6. Well, any number divided by itself is 1. So -6 divided by -6 is 1. So we're left with 1s. You're allowed to just write just 1s like that, or you can put the 1 in front of it if you want. But I don't typically do that because I don't feel like it. S is equal to 42. Here's how to check to see if you are correct. You take this 42 and you substitute it in for up here. So where the value of s is, instead of seeing if you see the s, erase the s and put the 42 there. Okay? So now we have 42 divided by -6, and positive divided by a negative is a negative. So this is actually, this value right here is -7 minus 21. -7 minus 21, that right there is, this whole side right here is -28, and this side right here is -28. So when both sides of that equal sign are equal, that means that you have the correct value for that variable. So I know that the value of s is equal to 42 because it makes both sides of that equation balance out and equal each other. Number 2, when we build this problem, they started with n. So look how they built it, and then they multiplied it by -4. Don't forget about that -4. Okay? Because remember that means multiply. And they subtracted 7. Okay? So now let's go to inverse operations. The opposite of -7 is to add 7. Okay? -7 plus 7 is 0. And 17 plus 7 is 24. Bring down your equal sign. And now that -4n is still there, so bring that down. Okay, now that you've rewritten it, now you can go back up. The inverse operation of multiply by -4 is to divide by -4. Okay, you keep the same number, but you're just using the inverse operation. The inverse of multiply is to divide. Okay, so now we're going to divide by -4, divide by -4. You'll see here, -4 divided by -4. Well, that's 1, because any number divided by itself is a 1. There's only one n right there, so I can just write the n like that. Positive divided by a negative is going to be a negative answer. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. 24 divided by -4 is -6. To check your answer, you substitute it up here just to double check. So right there would be a -6. -4 times -6 is a positive 24. 24 subtract 7 is 17. So this side equals 17 and this side equals 17. So this is the correct answer. Number 3. You should pause the video and try this one on your own, okay? Start with A, the variable, then remember that means multiply. They multiplied A by 6, and then they added 4 over there. Whoops, don't forget the operation, okay? Opposite plus 4 is -4, or subtract 4. Do it to both sides of the equal sign. 4 take away 4 is 0. 10 take away 4 is 6. Bring everything down that's left. 6A. Okay, now that you've rewritten it, go back up. Inverse operation of multiply is to divide. So divide by 6 on both sides. Divide by 6. Divide by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times A is 1A. Or A, same thing. 6 divided by 6 is 1. Okay, here's how you check your answer. Take that, put it in right there. 6 times 1 is 6. So take the 6 plus 4 to it. This side right here equals 10. And this side equals 10. So yeah, that's right. Number 4. This is similar to number 1. So you should obviously pause the video and try to do it yourself. See if you can do it. So we had I. Then they divided it by 3. And then after that, they subtracted 10. Okay, the inverse operation of subtract is to add. So we're going to add 10 to both sides of that equal sign. -10 plus 10 is 0. -6 plus 10 is 4. Bring down what's left, I divided by 3. Okay. Now that you've rewritten it, because you've simplified that problem, you're going to go back up. The opposite of divide is to multiply. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3. Okay, make that a fraction. 3 times I is 3I. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Oops. It's 12. Hey, look, 3 divided by 3, that's 1. So we're left with 1I or just I equals 12. Okay, and to check your answer, you substitute it in there, right there, and you put a 12. So 12 divided by 3, that's 4. 4 subtract 10, that's -6. So this side equals -6 after I've substituted it in there. So -6 equals -6, so yeah, that's correct. Okay, build it first. Start with T, multiplied it by 7, then they subtracted 8. Okay, now this side I'm going to go just a little bit faster just because I spent a lot of time on the front page, and the front page is very similar to the back page. So if you have any questions, please bring them to class so I can answer them, okay? All right, so we built it. Opposite of -8 is add 8. Do it to both sides. And then after that, -8 plus 8 is 0. 27 plus 8 is 35. Bring down your 7t. Now that you've rewritten it, go back up. Opposite of multiply is to divide. Keep the same number. So divide by 7, divide by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. There's 1 t left. 35 divided by 7 is 5. Substitute in there to make sure you're right. 7 times 5 is 35. 35 subtract 8 is 27. So this side equals 27 after you substitute that 5 in there, and this side equals 27, so we're right. Start with C. Divide it by 8. Add 25. Inverse operation of add is to subtract. 25, take away 25 is 0. 20 minus 25 is -5. Bring back down your C divided by 8. You rewrote it, so now go back up. The opposite of a divide is multiply. So you multiply both sides by 8. Okay, so 8 times C is 8C. 1 times 8 is 8. -5 times a positive 8 is going to be a -40. Okay, well look right here, we have 8 divided by 8 is 1, so we're left with C equals that -40. Okay, substitute it up there. -40 divided by 8 is -5. -5 plus 25 is 20. So that's right. Okay, build it. Start with E, and they multiplied it by negative 9. Then subtract 15. Make sure you're building it correctly, okay? So opposite of minus 15 is plus 15. Negative 15 plus 15 is 0. 93 plus 15 is 108. So bring down that negative 9e. Okay, now that you've rewritten it, you can go back up. The opposite of multiply is to divide, so divide by that same number. Divide by negative 9, divide by negative 9. Negative 9 divided by negative 9 is 1. Let's do that. 1e, you can just write e, that's cool. A positive divided by negative is a negative. 108 divided by 9 is 12. So 108 divided by negative 9 is negative 12. So to double check it up here, you go negative 12, put it right there. Negative 12 times negative 9 is a positive 108. 108 minus 15 is 93, so that's correct. Okay, build the next one. And here we go. They started with the letter O, okay? Then they multiplied it, oops. After the letter O, when they built this equation, then they multiplied it by negative 3. And then they subtracted 8. So the inverse operation of subtract 8 is to add 8. And negative 8 plus 8 is 0. Negative 35 plus 8 is negative 27. Bring that down to negative 3o. And go back up the ladder now that you have rewritten it. The opposite of multiply is to divide, and we're going to divide by that same number. Divide by negative 3 on both sides. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. 1 times o is just 1o, or you can just write the 1o right there. Negative divided by negative is going to be a positive, so 27 divided by 3 is 9. So negative 27 divided by negative 3 is positive 9. Check it. Boom. So negative 3 times 9, positive 9 is negative 27. Negative 27 minus 8, that right there is negative 35, just like on that side. So that is correct, so I'm going to circle it. All right, over here, build it. They start with R, then they, remember that's multiply, multiplied by 5, then they added 13. So the inverse operation of plus 13 is minus 13. Do it to both sides. 13 minus 13 is 0. 15 minus 13 is 2. Bring down your 5r. Go back up. Opposite of multiply by 5 is to divide by 5. Divide by 5, divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1r is equal to, oh, you got a fraction right here, so keep it a fraction, 2/5. Okay? Or you can make it a decimal if you want, but that's just way easier. So we can put it up here, 2/5. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 5 is 5, so that's 10/5. 10/5 is actually 10 divided by 5, which is 2. 2 plus 13 is 15, so this side equals 15, and so does that side. So yeah, that's correct. Okay, build this one. Okay, did you get that? All right, now inverse operations. Okay, did you get that? And divide by 6. Okay, did you get that? Check it. 18 plus 4, 18, 19, 20, 22. So that's 22. So is that. So that's right. Okay, last part is your job. Use the letters of the variables to answer the riddle. What kind of shoes do snakes wear to the beach? So here's how you would answer this. So like right here, 2/5 is the answer. So I see there's 2/5 right there. So I'm going to put an R right there. Okay, so go through and finish the riddle and have a good day. Bye.